Hello everyone, I'm Squall. This is StarCraft 2. We are continuing to follow the exploits of Liquid Hero, the Blue Protoss. Roar! GSL thing. Okay, and his opponent for this game is, of course, uRing. I don't know who that is, but if you're playing against Hero, you probably have to be pretty good, unless the MMR on Battle.net is just completely borked. So, yeah, so I decided to jump into another PvP because I'm just desperately hoping that Liquid Hero goes for that Stargate play again. Maybe that was an anomaly, or I don't even know, but I would love to see that again. Maybe that was even specific to the map, who knows? I mean, in case you didn't know, I will educate you now. You know, pros definitely make builds that are specific to maps because, you know, different maps are good for different things. Some maps are better for early pressure because the run distance isn't as long. Some maps are wider or larger, so it kind of encourages more macro play where you expand a lot and get a giant army. And then sometimes there'll even be players who will try to subvert this. They'll be like, okay, this map you expect me to go for lots of expansions because it's a very large map. So instead, I will go for something very aggressive and kind of cheesy, you know. So it's one of those things where there's always lots of thought put into it. If you're just like, oh, they just do their build. I mean, sure, there are some builds that are kind of a catch-all where they can kind of work on any map. But there's definitely builds, too, where it's like, you know what, this map works really well for Needlisks, so I'm going to go for Needlisks. And then maybe eventually transition to something like Infestor Ling. You know, that sort of thing. So, Hero is, of course, scouting out. I'll bring up the production queue so we can keep an eye on that. And uRing, his gateway is finishing now. And Cybercore starts for both players pretty much identically. Heroes starting just a tiny bit earlier, but not really a big deal at all. And it looks like uRing is content to just not scout at all. I don't see any of his units out on the map. Okay, interesting. He is taking a second gas, so definitely going for something tech-oriented. Hero also has taken his second gas, and a little bit earlier, so this is what we saw in that first game where he went for Phoenixes. Maybe we'll see it again. Because, yeah, I feel like if they were going to go for like a one-gate expand, or just sort of, you know, an expand play in general, they wouldn't be taking this gas at this point. There'd be no way, because you need the minerals to get the Nexus up, so... And, you know, getting a gas up, it really does reduce how much minerals you get by a pretty significant amount. So, we'll see where each player goes with this. With Hero getting a sentry, there we go. Getting a sentry out, I can speak English. I still have control over my brain, even though I think this is the 11th game I've casted this morning. It's not even morning anymore, it's afternoon. Oh my goodness. I'm spending my entire day off ingesting StarCraft, and I'm pretty okay with that because StarCraft is a really fun game. Now, uRing is getting a robo facility up, so looks like 2-gate robo. Wouldn't be too surprised to see him expand out of this, as robo play tends to be just a little bit more defensive and safe. Liquid Hero, on the other hand, going to 4 gates. Okay, looks like he wants to turn on the heat a little bit. And so, yeah, maybe instead we'll just see lots of Stalkers and Sentries and some Zealots, and then... Yeah, I mean, he is putting all of his Chrono Boost into that Cybercore, and the Warp Gate research should finish up a little bit before those gateways finishing. And where's his probe at? He's definitely going to need to get a forward pylon down in the near future if he wants to do 4-gate aggression. Here we go. Probe scooting on out, and getting hallucination once again. So this is, again, what we saw in the first game, except this time around he's going for 4 gates instead of, you know, not 4 gates. And yeah, here we go. Probe scoots on up, puts down the pylon, the spot that everyone puts it in, because it's a really good spot to put it, or it's going to whenever it feels like it. And this Stalker trying to chase down the probe, but eventually decides to screw it. He can get away, and the Observer does catch wind of that probe there, so uRing has to know that there's going to be a forward pylon in the very near future, as soon as Hero decides to do that. And uRing looks like he's struggling with a little bit of indecision. Like, I think he wants to expand, but he's building his minerals up a lot. Okay, he is getting a robo base, so 1 base Colossi, But those Colossi are going to take quite a while to get out, and this 4-gate is definitely going to hit well before that Robo Bay finishes. Now that said, Hero has put down a pylon here so we can warp in up here, but there's a pylon in the way. Sorry, Hero, that's not going to work out. And he will probably cancel that since he does see those Stalkers there, but he might let it finish just to keep the Stalkers away from the ramp. And Force Field does go down, Hallucination is used so he can get Vision, but the only thing he can really hit at the moment is the Assimilator. It looks like Hero canceled that and then rebuilt it. And both players micring back and forth. uRing does have an Immortal, so that will lend him a lot of firepower and durability. And he is continuing to force field the ramp. Hero just dancing back and forth. His minerals are building up pretty high, but I assume he's got another Warp Gate cycle coming really soon. And oh wow, he can warp in up there, so getting a single Zealot up, going to start working away on that pylon. And uRing would love to respond to that, but he kind of needs everything up front to deal with what Hero's doing there. And yeah, even more warp-ins coming on. uRing warping in some Zealots of his own to deal with this. And both players just being a little bit passive at the front. Some Stalkers being pulled back, and Hero goes for it, but it doesn't work out. There is a force field in the way. And man, force fields are so good. Hero continuing to warp in Zealots. Not sure that's the best decision, as it's just going to get killed without doing too much. Although it does get 2 Zealots before it goes down, so that actually wasn't bad. And he's just continuing to posture at the front. Hallucinates another Phoenix so he can continue picking away at things. And if he's able to kill that Assimilator, that will slow down the Colossi crazily much. So much it'll be crazy. Yes. And uRing doesn't seem to quite be able to respond to this. He's chrono boosting all of his gateways because he really wants to defend. And yep, that Assimilator is going to die. So yeah, uRing's ability to tech. Oh wow, he canceled the Robo Bay. Okay. Probably a good move on his part because, you know, he saw this 4-gate coming. Like, okay, I need to live. I need this money for units right now. I don't need Colossi 2 minutes from now. I need stuff this very instant. So hallucinating yet another Phoenix so he can continue to shoot up. But oh, really good force field go down. And Liquid Hero has a pair of Stalkers picked off. And it looks like Hero has decided to just pull on home. Or not. Okay, he's just going to sit here. And oh wow, we've had action here that I've been completely missing, just now catching it. So Hero has been fighting on 2 fronts. This Observer has been allowing uRing to warp up onto the high ground. But Hero does pick off the probe and is slowly starting to chip away on the pylon. Wow, I didn't see that. But it looks like there wasn't really too much damage down. Hero was able to respond to it well. And both players in a bit of a standoff. But uRing definitely has the forces to crush us if Hero tries to get up the ramp. But, yep, Hero just decides to force field the ramp and run away. And just going to leave a single sentry there so we can continue to force field that. And that way uRing will not be able to expand, at least until this Warp Prism comes out. Yep, another force field goes down, continues to deny things. And this Observer does get picked off. And Hero looks like he's going to expand, so finally getting their first finally getting his first expansion at the 11:30 mark. Whenever he does choose to do that, he certainly has the money for it. I guess he's dealing with other things at the moment. What's he working on here? Pylon and Robo Bay. Okay, so he's going to transition into Colossi. And is uRing doing that? No, he is not. He is getting Blink, and he's staying on 3 gates. And we got a pretty scary push coming from uRing here. And you know what, this might be why Hero is not expanding, because he senses that this is coming. He's pretty sure it's coming. He wants to live. So he's warping in units so he cannot die. Now, he does have 2 sentries out, so that's not going to be that many force fields. They're building up energy decently. And Warp Prism comes up and runs away. Okay. But, oh dear, Hero pulling his sentries away. He needs to leave those at the front, no question. With any luck, he will respond. Yep, there we go. So he needs to leave the sentries at the front and then peel the Stalkers off to potentially deal with that Warp Prism. And yeah, got just another standoff. So now it's not Hero being sieged, or now it's not Hero doing the sieging. It's uRing doing the sieging, which, honestly, that's a pretty hilarious name. I think I mentioned that already, but I'm going to say it again. uRing, that's an amusing name. But, Colossi range will be finishing pretty soon. It's definitely getting chrono boosted, or maybe not. Wow. Hero crash. Or wait, is that chrono boosted? No, it's not. Okay. And oh, the Robo facility is exposed to Stalker fire. And here we go. Force field's going down, instantly getting destroyed. by the Colossi. Colossi is doing quite a bit of work, dealing lots of damage. Range finishing up any second now. Boom. There we go. Now Heroes definitely has to be feeling just a little bit better. And he does have 2 Colossi now. That's going to be his cue to push on forward. There's 2 Colossi, deal so much damage. He needs to be careful with that, though. uRing has a decent number of Immortals. And honestly, a lot of Blink Stalkers. And oh, so Colossus taking a lot of damage. Hero needs to be very, very careful. If he loses those Colossi, that's going to be an enormous win for uRing. And it looks like uRing is just loading up the Immortals and going to warp in a bunch of units. And the standoff continues. And this pylon finally being taken down. uRing looks like he might want to expand now. But both players still in this awkward standoff. Hero continuing to get more and more Colossi, and if uRing lets too many Colossi get out, he's going to lose. But here we go, Colossi dropping down, starting to focus fire on the Colossi. So many Stalkers blinking up and attacking, and this might just be a little bit too much for Hero. He does keep 1 Colossi alive, another one comes out with an absolutely terrible rally. And it's hard to say, Hero does have a supply lead, he is managing to clean up a lot of the stuff, he has a lot of Zealots left over. And uRing only has Stalkers remaining. He is warping in more units. But he does manage to blink all the Stalkers out, and he killed all of the Colossi, which is an enormous resource loss. They are dead even as far as resources lost go. But now uRing has the advantage, because he has Blink Stalkers. Hero does not. He's trying to Chrono Boost out yet another Colossi, so it's going to be a bit difficult for him to do. Actually, it's not going to be difficult. He's going to get it out any second now. What am I even saying? My brain's no longer working. And uRing just trying to deal some damage. Colossi is out now. That's going to deal a lot of damage. And the tense standoff continues. uRing still has a probe here that wants to expand, but he has not received his government allocation for that yet. Hero looks like he wants to push forward once again, trying to get the Warp Prism, it looks like. It doesn't quite go down, and uRing is continuing to use that to reinforce. Here we go. Continuing to push and prod. Each side trying to get an edge. Force field's going down, pinning back a lot of Stalkers. Hero gets out an Immortal. Definitely a good decision against this very Stalker-centric army. And these Stalkers are just getting so low on health. And looks like uRing is finally going to decide to pull home and get on out of there. Or maybe not. Just pulling back a little bit. Let the shields regenerate. Is he going to try for a blanket or something? No. Looks like he just wants to continue the aggression. He wants to win, man. And, oh wow, Hero is nearly mined out there. uRing had been mining a little bit slower, so he's actually going to drain that, well, slower than his opponent. And once Hero is out of this, he's going to be in a spot of trouble. And he's down to just 1 mineral patch. So if uRing can keep Hero contained and just pick away units, Hero will be in a very bad spot. And oh, Warp Prism finally gets taken out. And oh wow, uRing wanted to do a blink up, it looks like. Yep, there's the cooldown on those Stalkers, but the Warp Prism died just before he clicked, and so instead of blinking up here, they just blunk into the wall. And so that will stop uRing's aggression. Hero is going to get to expand with the very remnants of his minerals, and these probes doing the longest journey to continue mining for their base, and the building's really just kind of inhibiting Hero's ability to long distance mine. But that said, uRing has not expanded himself, and he's getting pretty low too, so if Hero can defend this expansion and get it up, and uRing doesn't expand soon, he's going to be in trouble. No question. uRing just going to take out these rocks. Looks like he just wants to have those open for later in the game, potentially. And here we go. He's pushing forward. Hero still has a pretty decent force. If he can bait a blink out of those Stalkers and then force field, that would be good. But he does manage to pick off a few. Colossi takes some damage, but remains alive. And Hero just such a tense position. Wants to get that expansion up. If he can get it up and stabilize, he will be fine. But if uRing can snipe it, it'll be terrible. Here we go. Big engagement. Guardian Shield going down. Stalkers having to fall back. Almost lose. I think he lost 1, but then managed to blink away. And this Nexus will finish. That will be very, very good for Heroes. His mineral income is going to go from completely abysmal to halfway decent. And, wow, he has a lot more workers than uRing. Where did all uRing's workers go? I mean, he's pulling them all now. Was there a warp in at some point that I just didn't notice? And uRing lost a lot of workers? Oh, man. But, here comes the final push from uRing, bringing absolutely everything he has. Hero still has a decent army, but if you look at the army supply, it's... Oh, it actually is in Hero's favor. Okay. And here we go. Probes moving up to buffer damage. Stalkers blink forward, and they do pick off the Colossi. Nice little win for uRing. But the longer he doesn't kill Hero, the further and further behind he gets. He's going to try to pick off the Nexus, it looks like. And Force Field pinning back a lot of Hero's units. But uRing's forces aren't really being focused. Like, some of them are killing Hero's units. Some of them are killing his workers. Another Colossi comes out. It does get picked off almost instantly. And I think Hero is on the ropes. He's starting to lose just a little bit too much stuff. uRing going to blink up into the main, start killing stuff. Hero's pulled all of his probes. He knows he needs to defeat this push. If he can kill all of these units, he will win. Probes moving forward, buffering damage, dealing damage. Guardian Shield is down to prevent the Stalkers from dealing too much damage. And looks like Hero feels safe enough to return his probes to mining. And I don't know what uRing can do at this point. He's going to swing Stalkers around, might try to pick off the Nexus once again. But at this point, unless he can just outright kill Hero, it's done. The game is over. There's no way he can come back from having no base and 0 probes. He has 11 Stalkers to his name, and that is it. And Hero has 8 Stalkers and some Sentries and a Zealot. The one advantage here uRing has is that he does have that blink. And, oh, the Nexus does go down, but Hero does still have some probes. Whereas uRing has some great force fields going down, pinning them in. And uRing GG's out of the game. And, yeah, that was definitely over. Even though he got the Nexus, and that was a nice little win for him, Hero still had probes. He still had mining power. uRing had 0 probes and not enough minerals to rebuild. So, well played by Hero. Incredibly tense for most of the game as Hero just parked outside uRing's base for the longest time. uRing finally got enough stuff to push Hero away. Hero came home and uRing parked outside Hero's base until he was mined out, and Hero just managed to push out enough to get a Nexus down and get that tiny lead that allowed him to win. So, yeah, well played by both players. Even though it didn't have that Stargate play I was looking for, still just incredibly tense and enjoyable. So I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, or even more, because you are my audience. I want you to be entertained and to come back and watch more of my videos. So, yeah, I'm going to continue doing Hero games because why not? See you guys in the next one.